Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you the pre-match build-up to Champions League football. And as we know, even though it's a bit doom and gloom right now, there's still another club around North London that would love to be able to say that. So let's take the positive from that. But of course, you can see we are joined by the one and only Mr. Kaneki, the one and only Kovacic, even though his namesake is out injured, and Philip will be popping on at some stage as well. But Jack, how are you keeping, brother? Big game today.
Yeah, keeping quite well, Dave. In fact, actually, speaking of the Gooners, I think Micah Richards, Jamie Carragher, the whole Paramount Plus crew were actually in Brooklyn yesterday. They were doing a bit of Champions League action. And there were a lot of Gooners there, Dave, showing their scarves and whatnot. And I thought that probably just wasn't allowed in. It just didn't seem like a relevant sort of thing to bring into a Champions League event, wearing a Gooners jersey, wearing a Gooner scarf as well. So just kind of, making fun of themselves by the looks of it, being in a Champions League kind of event. But looking forward to this one, Dave.
Yeah. They can't help themselves. They really do give us something to giggle at.
At this stage, we don't even need to make fun of them, Dave. They were making fun of themselves at the event. It was brilliant.
Absolutely love it. Kovacic, how are you keeping, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm for some reason I feel fairly confident tonight. I think we all had the letdown of not bouncing back at the weekend, but to be fair, bad mistakes. We'd played fairly well in the game up to a point, but got to hand it to Newcastle. They were excellent. They're a top team now. They're hitting the peaks a lot sooner than a lot of us were predicting, really, aren't they? Very solid at the back. As soon as they got used to us, they sort of snuffed out the threat after we'd scored. I thought we'd go on and get an equaliser, but none of it. Still positives from that game.
Do you know what, Kuva? I do see what you're saying, but I struggle to give Newcastle any credit because the manner in which we handed them the game it's still winding me up to today. But look, I'm going to try and forget about it just for today's game, and hopefully these guys can prove me wrong. We're going to welcome a few people in, and then we're going to get into it. Big up Wisdom. He says, you're a bit early, George. Big up, my man. We've got Frank Last in the house, 3-1. Come on, you Spurs. Hi to all from New Zealand. Big yourself up. Hopefully, the weather down in New Zealand is treating you well. It's pissing rain here, my man. Wembley 1 says, a fair Sporting will cut us to ribbons. -3 or 4-1 Sporting. Look, what I will say is Sporting are not the same team. They have about 6 players missing tonight. They're just not the same team. Their manager's under real pressure at the minute as well, my man. Richardson, the Pigeon TV, says, hello, everybody. Let's hope we can get this win tonight. Going to be broken. If we don't, come on, you Spurs. I think a lot of us will be, to be honest with you. Look, I will get into it, but I don't trust this team going away to Marseille. Faz Rapfar says, big up, guys. Must win today, and we will. Sonny hat-trick overdue again. Absolutely love that. Big up, Faz.
Get some advantages.
Disappointed all over again. I love it. John N says, evening, everyone. I go for a 2-1 Spurs win, but a bit nervous about this one, but hopefully your reaction from the Newcastle game. Come on, you Spurs. Well, see, here's the team, though, John. I mean, we got a reaction at the start of the Newcastle game. And then the usual.
From about 9 out of 11 players, really.
Yeah. Big up, Mick Hermlock. Good to see you in the building. We've also got Phil. He says, not accepting anything else other than a 3-0 Spurs win tonight. We have no choice but to go after them. There's no point sitting back to counter. Put it on them from the get-go. Lloris and Dyer, wake up. I think he's expressing a lot of the Spurs fans' feelings right now. Paul Brown says, evening, David, and panel, and all in the chat. Hopefully this one is a walk in the park. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, it would be nice for once, just this season, just be able to sit back and enjoy the game because it is that much of a walk in the park, to be honest with you. Mick Hanscombe says, big up the Irish Hotspur and all Spurs fans watching. Let's get fully behind the boys tonight for a much-needed win. Yeah. 90% of the team. I get behind 90% of the team. King Huddle says the absence of Kulu's creative input in the final third as well as his overall link play, where he's a huge loss, my man. DJ Samuel, great to see you. Mark P, great to see you. King Huddle, good to see you back in, my man. I hope you're keeping well, brother. We've got R Green 216 says, afternoon, chaps. Good up, big up, my man. Good to see you. Foggy Foam says, come on, you Spurs. Big up, everyone. Big up, Foggy Foam. And we've got Dermatron, who will be hosting a fan show with me this evening. He says, so pumped for tonight. Spurs will win. Conte holds all the cards, so Levy will back him in January and the summer. I trust Conte 1,000%. He will stay and win. Well, look, Dermo, I mean, you're setting me up. It's called an alley-oop in basketball, where Jack's from, I believe. But basically, we will be doing a debate show tomorrow. There's Daigle, there's Sean, there's the Joracle, myself and Jack. And we'll sort of be talking about the contract situation and is there a standoff between both parties? And look, I can actually see the reasoning from both sides on it. But ultimately, for me, I do think it falls on the board to ensure that they make Conte happy. But Dermot, we'll have to wait and see, my man. We'll have to wait and see. Big up, Dermo. We'll take a few more and then we'll crack on with it. We've got Daniel Anderson, Weatherall. We've got Derek Hutcher says, good evening, David Jack. This bunch of overpaid dwarves need to turn up tonight and stop being a bunch of losers. But it's simply brutally put. Absolutely love that, my man. Big yourself up and hopefully that happens tonight. We've got KPV in the building. Big up, KPV. We've also got Dave Hamilton, must win game, of course. Simon McClure says, big up, Dave. Nervous, which is the norm lately. Exactly, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. We've also got Mia W. Good evening. Big yourself up. We've got Bilali in the building. Big yourself up, Bilal. We've got Jack Bloom 22. He says, hello, Spurs fans. Let's bounce back from the 2 defeats.
Absolutely.
Big up, my man. Stevie Fraser. Great to see you. Big up
Steve.
David, Jack, and Kuva and the chat freaks. Let's have a winning performance and shut all these haters up. That would be nice. I'm sick of people taking the piss out of Tottenham. Good to see you in. We've also got Soft on Tinker 1-0 Spurs, Kane Ben. Mia W, great to see you. We've got Ray Peacock as well. Good to see you. And we've also got E1, Evan Wine. Good to see you. Brian, great to see you in the house. Mr. McGuire. We've also got Michael. Great to see you, brother. We've got Georgie Hill. It's the usual suspects make the same mistakes. I'm going absolutely ballistic today. We need to qualify at home 100%. Stevie D, good to see you. The Oxymoron, Slim by Tubbs. Great to see you. We've got Savvy in the house as well. Great to see you. Mark New as well. Big up, brother. Mark. We've got Kaguma. Big up, big boss man. Great to see you. The IrishHotspur, Shemtem, Peter McCormick. Great to see you. And Eugene Thomas. And then we've got Adrian Chase says, big up, lads. So did Dyer get his new contract? Still waiting to find out. Look, not if I can help it. I have people in the Royal Mail that are trying to sort something out for me to make sure that contract does not reach its destination. I also got guys on the internet to make sure there's blockers on it. So if they try to send it via email, I'm covered there. Now I just need someone to take guard outside the actual letterbox to make sure it definitely doesn't reach the house. But Adrian Chia, I am working overtime to make sure this does not happen, my man. But
Dave's sending in fake pens, and you're sending in pens that don't have ink in. You're doing everything to stall.
Yeah, if you really don't want Dyer to get the contract, just have to pass it to him.
He'd be fumbling in it left, right, and centre. That's what we should do. We should have him swinging on a crane over a big pond, right? And then fly out the contract to him and see if he can hold on to it. If he holds on to it and controls it, he gets to keep it. If he doesn't,
I like it. That could be pay-per-view, couldn't it?
It could. You can actually charge for that. But look, don't
put some alligators and things in the lake. Yeah.
Don't be giving certain people any ideas, though, and that's what we'll be seeing. You know, I'm a celebrity. Get me Tottenham out of here. Brian Daigle, good to see you in the building, brother. Sebas Wolf as well. Lisa, great to see you as well. But look, let's get into it. First of all, there's a couple of things I want to announce. Daigle, block your ears if you're listening. Block your ears. Look, we're in a bit of a doom and gloom period right now, and it's safe to say we do hear a lot of what the club don't do right. But today, our players will actually wear a special edition shirt emblazoned with the Tottenham Food Bank logo. And basically, the food banks provide emergency food and support to people living in poverty. Currently, a food bank parcel is handed out every 13 seconds in the UK. So big up to Tottenham, raising awareness for the food bank. If you go out and check out the Tottenham website, there's a message there. I think it's Coy's Food Bank that you could text to a number and help donate if anyone wants to do that. And then also look out for another spectacular, it's been described, spectacular Tifo display in the South Stand as an initiative led by THFC Flags and supported by AJ Tracy, where basically the South Stand, the 17,500 fans will all have cars to hold up for 60 seconds. And basically it'll be a big THFC with the cockerel in the middle. Now, it was put out that it's supposed to inspire the team. Now, for me, it would be like just do the basics or something like that. I'm not sure how much THFC is going to inspire them, but we'll wait and find out. But look, we're actually going to get into it. So everyone smash that like button, smash that subscribe button if you like the content of what we do here on the build up to games. And feel free also, sometimes the chat can get hot and heavy. So if it does, and you're just one of them people and you're like, I want to be the boss here, I'm going to make my comment stand out, I want everyone to hear what I have to say, feel free to make it a super chat. It stands out. We'll get straight to it. We'll have a good discussion. You guys know the score here. We know it's a big, bad world out there. Everything has gone up, even the price of heating and everything else, the basics for any human being which is a right for any human being, really. It's all gone up. So at least just get your comments into the chat and we'll bring them up as we go along. But big up, everybody. And then we've got a super chat here from Dermatron. He's really pumped today. He says, seeing Dyer, Davies, Doherty and Sanchez there, they do remind me of the banana splits, always making a mistake, but we will win tonight 3-0. First of all, Dermot, please don't mention banana splits because, I would absolutely love a dessert. I remember the banana split. So don't get me hungry, man. I'm about 8 hours ahead of me, but big yourself up. But look.
2 ways of looking at a banana split. You think of Dyer and Sanchez, or you think of a nice, beautiful dessert. And Dave decided to think about it.
Well, I know what makes me happy on a regular basis, Jack, and it's not Dyer, Doherty, Sanchez, or Davies. So it's the only other possibility it could be.
They're all 3 ice creams.
It's definitely a banana split. So it's the truth. I've got to take the solace where I can get it sometimes. But big up, Dermatron. Look, I'll be honest. I actually hope they put in a good performance today. I really do, because they put in a good performance. It means we'll keep them out and we'll go on and win the game. But unfortunately, I can't come into these games feeling confident when some of these guys play, because we're in full domination against Newcastle and then we just hand them the game from 2 mistakes. So it's up to them to give us the confidence, and hopefully they can do that today. That is the main aim of today. But big up, Dermotron. Really appreciate the support, but please don't make me hungry like that again, Dermo. Absolute brilliant. But look, we're going to tell everybody absolutely everything they need to know. Of course, it is at home at the magnificent Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, best stadium in world football. No one will tell me otherwise. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. The referee, I thought it said Danny Kiriakou there for a minute. It's not. It's Danny Macaulay. I think he's a poor man, Claude Makaleli, to be honest with you, a last name like that. And in the VR room, we've got Paul van Boekel.
2 Dutch referees, I believe it is, Dave. So I'm not familiar with their work and not familiar with their sirs. And I don't even know what sir is actually in Dutch.
Well, they're from Netherlands, Jack. So we just need to find out what sir is in Dutch and we'll be on the ball. Maybe it's Spliff or something like that, or Amsterdam. We're not sure, but we'll find out. And then, of course, if you want to watch the game tonight, look, ideally you should have us on with the commentary and then the game on the side. So if you do want to watch that game, just minus the anti-Spurs commentary, you can watch it on BT Sports or Paramount Plus in the USA, or Football. No, I better get this one right. Dave will be killing me. Football TV. I'm just going to say Football TV.
It is Football, yeah. Football.
So that's where you can find everything. And then, of course, the injury news. We're missing Richarlison, missing Kulusevski. Romero on his Instagram today put up a story, so it looks like he's above the matchday squad. Still waiting to find out a bit more about Højbjerg. Hopefully it's mind games and he is included today. And then obviously for Sporting, you've got Sergio out suspended, Gonçalves out suspended, Sebastian Coates, who played well against us last day. Didn't he score from a corner? Was it him that scored one? I think I'm not sure.
No, it was that striker that came on that might have scored. He is a big guy, and he's kind of like he's that former Liverpool player. He's been there forever, so he is like a big player for them for sure.
Yeah, former Liverpool player, probably begging for VAR decisions. And then we've got Lewis Nato and we've got St. Juste out as well. So they're missing a lot across the back line, and they're also missing some players in the forward areas. So hopefully it is. Means we could take advantage of it today. And then the group looks like this. Basically, Tottenham on 7 points, Marseille on 6, Sporting on 6, and Frankfurt on 4. So if we win today, we essentially ensure we qualify for the knockout stages regardless of what happens at Marseille. So there you have it, guys. That's absolutely everything that you guys need to know. Now we're going to crack
Daigle says tonight it's on DAZN. I just heard it from Daigle here itself. He just whispered it into my ear.
The zone, it's on so Canada. The zone, big up Daigle, keeping me in check. He's keeping me in line, Jack. But look, Jack, we'll start with you. Tottenham currently sit top of their Group D table, like we can see here, with 7 points. But with both Marseille and Sporting are just 1 point behind us on 6 points. Frankfurt are bottom, but with 4 points. Everyone can still qualify. But with Conte's dismal record in Europe and the players' constant failure under pressure, do you have confidence we'll get out of this group, Jack?
Yeah, I do have confidence we'll get out of it, mostly because I hope that the players do realize that the job is going to be made a whole lot harder if they don't do it if they don't do it today. I mean, we know that Ben Davies even mentioned it, I believe, in his press conference. They're probably well aware that the job gets made a whole lot harder for them if they don't get the job done today. So I feel like maybe also with the fact that they are off the back of 2 defeats, of course, maybe they're lacking a bit of confidence, but they're also maybe having that bit of desperation, knowing that they do need to win, knowing that they do need to bounce back and show the fans that they can be able to show a bit of grit and a bit of backbone this season. Of course, they don't need to be playing, I think, in flying form. They don't need to be playing, all 8s out of 10s, but I think they just need to somehow kind of get rid of the mistakes that we saw in the last game, because even the Newcastle game, like you said, Dave, it had kind of the semblance of a good performance until it all just went crumbling down from individual performances. But if they kind of get rid of that today, if they kind of get rid of that sort of, how would you say, just nervousness or I don't know, kind of just being a bit shaky, then I think Spurs will probably kind of give us the result that we definitely deserve, because the last 2 performances have been really painful. But by the looks of sort of Ben Davies' very boring but very serious press conference, he seemed very intent on, delivering a good performance for Spurs, or at least he could tell that he knows that there is a lot of pressure on this game, especially knowing that the job in Marseille is not going to be easy, not at all.
No, it's not. It's definitely not, for sure, Jack, and I'll be getting on to that in a minute. So I do think it's vitally important we get it done today. I do have confidence we're going to get out. Look, I do think we'll win today, and that's all that matters. We win today, we're out of the group. If it goes to Marseille, we're absolutely screwed. But Kuva, a victory for Spurs tonight will see them secure a passage to the knockout stages. A defeat would mean that we will go into the away fixture at Marseille, one of the most hostile away games in Europe, likely needing to win to avoid the elimination. With our away form absolutely abysmal in Europe over the last few years, we've lost to NS Moore, Zagreb, Vitesse, Patras to Ferreira Sport, and Andrew away at Frankfurt. So we don't win away in Europe at all. And this is all over the last few years. Also, given Davies' quote after the Vitesse loss, where he basically blamed the atmosphere, the pitch, the referee, my mother's cooking, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Kuva, how important is it we actually get the job done tonight with no excuses?
Do or die, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
The reverse fixture, although we lost it, you could say there was fairly wide open game for a lot of it. We could have scored, they could have scored. They nearly had one of the goals of the century in from Marcus Edwards. That would just been a fantastic goal to watch. But I think after a while, there was some similarities with the game we had against Newcastle, in that we looked dangerous for a while and then it sort of petered out a little bit, and they got used to us, found it very easy to shut us off. And they saw out that game. We're hoping for get a valuable away point. They still snatched the win. So I don't think we're going to see that tonight. We've got home advantage, massive to us. It's always a big advantage in European games anyway. And some of the key players out that Gonçalves was outstanding in the first game.
Yeah, he was.
I think Marcus Edwards really stole the headlines with that incredible dribble. But Gonçalves was a big part of that.
Kind of lose
thorn in our side. Yeah. I think him missing in particular is going to blunt their teeth, and I think they're missing quite a few at the back as well, aren't they? So,
Sebastian Coates, I think Jiu-Jitsu or whatever, cheap Jiu-Jitsu. I think he's across the back line as well. Yeah,
so I just have a feeling that they got a great manager, and I think they're going to play some nice football. They're going to have little fleeting bits of danger they'll offer. But we showed enough in that away leg to know that we can get at them. Home crowd roaring us on. I feel pretty confident tonight. I think we'll win about. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 as well. I must admit.
Oh, Kuva! He must have had an extra
he's
sip
feeling
in
some
the coffee
vibes
this morning.
He's feeling some vibes. I like it.
No, I do. Look, Look, the job has to be done today. I don't want anyone telling me if we don't get it done today, it's all right, we're going to get it done against Marseille. If we cannot handle lower-ranked European opposition away from home because we're intimidated by the birds that are allowed to fly over the stadium, the noises in and around the city, the pitch, which is the same for both teams, the atmosphere, which is the same for both teams, well, we're definitely not handling going away to Marseille. If anyone's seen the clips of Marseille fans at Tottenham, our players are definitely not going out there and handling that for sure. So look, it has to be done today. And I agree with Kuva. I agree with you, my man. I think, look, they're missing a hell of a lot of players. Their backline this weekend, their only real threat today is Edwards and Trincao. And you would say it's probably like kryptonite to our defense. I don't know if that's the right word, but, basically where they're just going to run at them. And it's the sort of people that our defenders cannot deal with. Someone that's direct, that will run at them. That's so for me, it has to be done tonight, and they're their only threat. So I don't want to see us, give the stupid go away, because the warning signs were there just before half-time away from home, when Marcus Edwards danced through about players like you were alluding to, Kuva, and nearly put one away, only from a magical save from Hugo. So the danger signs are there, and the reality is we can actually play really well, but all it takes is just one player to run at us and we're undone.
Well said.
So I just hope that defense does hold together, because that's the key to tonight. The defense. We will score goals. We will take one or two opportunities. The key is absolutely the defense tonight. Oliver Freeman says, lads, what do you think of my starting 11 tonight? Would you be calling for Nuno back if I was the head coach?
I have it right here, Davo.
I saw it on the group chat.
Yeah,
I have it right here. I see it even on Twitter as well. This is from an hour ago from Ollie Freeman. He says, if I was in charge tonight, I know a lot will say, thank God I'm not. This is on the basis that Højbjerg, Romero, Richie, and Decky are all out. I'm putting Davies on the right, as I don't want Sanchez or Tanganga in the team. So he's gone Longley, Dyer, Davies as the back line, Hugo in goal, Jed Spence as the wing back, of course, Ollie Skip, Bentancur, and Sessegnon. So we're talking a 3-4-3 here from Ollie Freeman, boys. Sonny is actually played on the right, maybe taking advantage of that beautiful left foot. And then he's putting Kane up top with Perisic as the left winger. So Ryan Sessegnon and Perisic down the same side. I mean, Ollie, as much as you put yourself down there, it's not too crazy, apart from maybe Ben Davies at right-sided center back, but I like the rest of it. I like everything above the back line. Yeah,
Ben Davies struggles enough on the left-hand side, let alone going to the right.
Yeah, and that'll be his excuse then tonight if he plays crap over there. Oh, we didn't play on the right. I mean, I grew up in an era where defenders could cover all across the back line and they look just as adequate, because the art of defending is still essentially the same no matter where you play across the back line. But Ollie, I mean, honestly, Davies at right centre-back, I'm not too sure. I'd actually rather put Emerson in there if I'm being brutally honest. A bit of a Nuno selection going on there, Ollie, to be honest with you, my man. But big yourself up, Polytron. Really appreciate it.
As I said to him on the reply and on the chat group, I think it's absolute madness, that lineup, but I kind of like it at the same time.
I kind of liked it. Everything
I wonder what sort of tea Ollie had this morning. Ollie, send me on the brand name. I'm on that, my man. Kavkov Gaming says this club lack ambition and won't change in January. Look, Kafkov, I think we also have to be realistic on realistic expectations of a January transfer window. You've got to understand, summer's completely different. You've got 3-4 months there where you can clubs can sell players, and then they have time to look for the replacements. In January, it's only 1 month. It's a short window. And ultimately, you can go for your target. But if that club you're signing him off can't get in their target, they're not going to let him go. They're not going to leave themselves short. We have to be we look, as much as the frustrations we have towards the club and the ownership and everything else, you also got to expect realistic expectations in the January transfer window as well. And for me, of course, it's not going to change in January, but what we can do is identify maybe 2 positions like we done last January, bring them in here, hopefully get them to hit the ground running, do your homework on the signings, and hopefully help improve us till the end of the season. But the summer is where the work has to be done, my man. But big up Kafkov Gaming. Really appreciate the support. And then we've got a super sticker here from Gaguma. What are we on, Jack?
Classic. It's the classic. She's dancing in the air, Dave, and she just can't wait to see the win today from the players. And she's probably owed one like a lot of them. And I know Goguma, she's very polite, Dave, but she probably agreed with Derek Hutchinson. She's probably looking forward to these overpaid twerps getting us a win that's very long and deserved. And that would probably be her celebration dance, I think, because then she knows we're in the round of 16. Big up, Goguma.
Big up, Goalkeeper. I think we'll all be celebrating tonight once we reached around the 16. At the, I didn't start off too good, so just getting there is enough for me at this moment in time until after the World Cup, and hopefully getting a defender here in January. But big up, Gaguma. Really appreciate the support, my dear. Really appreciate it. Now, look, Kuva, we'll start with you on this. A year ago today, Nuno was still the manager of Tottenham, and we were struggling to advance out of the Europa Conference League group stage. 11 months on under Conte, a win tonight would see Spurs advance to the knockout stages of the Champions League with one game to go. And for me, this is significant here because with some actual hindsight and maybe spreading out everything over the course of a year, are things really as bad as we make them out to be right now, considering I just said we were in the Europa Conference League struggling to get out last year, and this year we're in the Champions League and we look like we're on our way out of the group stage?
For me, it's always a question of got to compare it to where we think we should have been. And the mess we've been in the last few years should never have come about in the first place. So we're trying to add like 12, we're talking about 12, 15 players coming in, and that's not going to happen. We should never be at that point. We should only need 2 or 3 each transfer window.
I agree with that.
So the grocery list should never be that long.
Yeah, exactly. So in some respects, we're going in the right direction. In other respects, we fell a hell of a long way behind. So overall,
where do we draw the line, though? Where do we draw the line in the sand where we have to accept that Steve Hitchens' recruitment was such shambolic that I agree with you. We should never, ever allow ourselves to get into a mess where you are realistically looking at 15 players in here in a summer window to really make a difference. But where do we draw the line and accept that, okay, we were in a mess and now we have to kind of draw a line in it and just concentrate on the recruitment going forward rather than what's gone beforehand?
Well, as you know, David, it's one of those much longer conversations, isn't it? It's a whole series worth of shows.
What time next week?
for me, you look at the manager comes in, it's Conte. The first thing you want to do is make sure he has quality wing backs for his system and quality defenders. We're going to be soaking up pressure and hitting on the break. They've got to be in place. Have we recruited sufficiently to do that? No. I think it's been pretty poor in that respect. I mean, I really love the signings of Kulusevski, Romero, and Bentancur. Great 3 players. All of the others got to have question marks over them. Is it really what we needed? Perisic, when he's on form, he's playing brilliantly, but has he got the legs to play the wing-back role nowadays? Evidence is saying maybe not. He can deliver a quality cross, though, quality set piece as well. Worth his weight in gold in that respect. But you look at the other missing parts to the jigsaw, they were not addressed in the summer. Even Hugo, if you're going to be playing out from the back, your goalkeeper's got to be comfortable on the ball too. Yeah. And it's his biggest weakness.
And it's crippling him almost at this stage, having to play at the
so
back so much,
for me, I think we should have been a lot further down the line by now. We should have been shaping up in the key positions. A couple of central defenders in, a couple of wing backs at the least. They're not there.
Look, that's fair. That's fair. But look, we're going to bring in your arch nemesis, your rifle. We've got Mr. Brady in the building. Let's get him on. Oh, where's...
there he is.
Philip, how are you keeping, my man?
Hi, lad.
Big old Philip.
Bad. Not the internet might be a bit patchy here, so allow me. It might be a bit of a lag. It's
no worries.
Not great this morning at all.
No worries.
How we doing?
Philip,
how we doing?
Yeah, all good. Oh, good. We're going to get you going straight away. For Spurs to go from not advancing in the Conference League to securing a knockout round in the Champions League in less than 12 months under Conte, is it something that we actually take lightly or for granted? Because many would say there's been no improvement here. And basically, has the 3 defeats that we've suffered in October actually diminished the improvements that we have made since last season?
Oh yeah, I mean we were unbeaten up to the Arsenal game, and well, no, we weren't actually. No, we're beaten by Sporting, but yeah, I suppose it has. It's put a damper on a lot of things, really. Like we're still top 3, but to read between the lines, we're not top 3. We're top 3 by default rather than by our good football, and probably other teams not getting results. I'm very confident though that there's got to be a reaction from that debacle on Sunday against Newcastle, and I'm hoping it starts tonight. Now, I'll probably prove completely wrong. I think if those players have got anything in them, they will not want to put I presume it's going to be a near capacity crowd tonight through the same torture to put them through on Sunday. And that's why I'm expecting I'm hoping that Conte is brave in his team selection tonight. For one, I would leave Hugo out tonight because he looked to me a guy that was completely shot on Sunday. I give Fraser Foster a chance tonight. He probably won't do it. 99% sure he won't. But I think it might just give Hugo the message: you're not the number one choice by every game comes. You've got to earn your place. So we'll see. But it's been disappointing to lose those games, and especially on Sunday. I think we had 10 shots before Newcastle managed it. When it was disappointing, and it wasn't good. Like me, I'm normally very positive, but even I was getting it on Sunday. There, I was really, really down about that result.
Yeah.
Philip, that's a huge shout about Hugo dropping in for Fraser Forster. I totally get it, but do you reckon that'll have a big knock-on effect because it's the club captain and everything as well?
Well, in my opinion, he shouldn't be. Goalkeepers shouldn't be captains, and I made that perfectly clear, as a lot of people have over the years. I don't believe in goalkeeper captains.
Yeah.
I think players get comfortable if they know they're going to be playing every game. It doesn't keep them on their toes. And I think Hugo, while he's a brilliant shot stopper, other aspects of his game, like his distribution, well, that's always been bad. But his reaction time on Sunday, he should have been able to get that ball, and we wouldn't be talking like this. So I think just give him he dropped Kulichevsky last season when he wasn't playing well, and look at the reaction that had when he came back in. So I think he's got to be brave. He's got to be brave, and Conte strikes me as a manager who does not just because you've got a good reputation doesn't mean you're going to play from every game. And I love Hugo to bits, but I think we're getting close to the time where he's going to have to realize his time is up and he needs a bit more competition.
Do you know what?
So very quickly, Conte did say nobody's undroppable, didn't he? So that'll be a huge.
Yeah, well, now it's to prove it.
And you know what? I actually couldn't care less if I'd actually rather see what the team is like with someone outfield as captain, to be honest with you. I think if Højbjerg plays today, I think make him captain, drop Hugo Lloris, make a statement, and see how we get on. See if we have a bit more conviction about it. See if Højbjerg can lead the team to glory and just try it out. Well, you've got nothing to lose at this stage. What you can't have in your team is your captain as the last line of defence making the fucking errors that he is.
Yeah, looking the shakiest. Yeah.
You've got to be honest, Jack. Yeah. His errors are becoming more frequent, right?
No, I just think he's the thing is what Kuva brought up before kind of made me think about this transfer window, especially when it came to the goalkeepers in particular, where it's like if we are going to play a certain style where the goalkeepers are going to be asked to do a lot more with their feet, you're then just kind of turning Hugo into a nervous sort of kind of like Nelly, and he is going to just basically start crumbling and kind of just start losing confidence. I think after he starts making mistake after mistake, and it's starting to become so frequent now, that do you really want a guy like that to also then be wearing the armband? Like, is that extra pressure, him wearing the armband? I'm not so sure. But I know it's not really the right look to be seeing a guy that, I'll be honest, like even when he had a good game against Man United, he still looked like the shakiest to begin with because of that first initial drop and save. So it did show that maybe even recently, just the past few games, he hasn't even started out as like the most confident or even, the most assured of himself. And even when Højbjerg, let's say, doesn't have a good game, you would say at the very end of the day, he's very assured with himself and he holds himself accountable. He's not going to be a guy either. I've seen him hold his hand up before when he makes mistakes. He's not a guy that points at others or anything like that when he makes mistakes. He just seems to be more of just a captain that maybe embodies what maybe the players should really be embodying. Whereas Hugo is just so nervous right now. Like, you need to be for a captain, for me, Dave, you need to be a captain by example, by how you play, but also just like obviously kind of the ethos that the energy that you emit, like obviously as well. And I mean, Kane is the best example of being a captain by example. Is his energy and like his ethos maybe the best as a captain? Maybe up for debate, but I think with Hugo right now, his form and everything, he can't be a captain by example when it comes to how he's actually playing.
Here's the thing though, Jack. I can accept someone standing up and holding their hands up for a mistake. It's better than doing what Eric Dyer does, throwing his arms around and blaming everybody else. But then I expect you to learn from that mistake and not to repeat it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
Oh, no,
so far,
Eric Dyer reached the hits on Sunday there. Really.
Look, I'm going to get onto him in a minute.
He's
still not escaping my clutches this week, Philip. He's not escaping my clutches whatsoever. But I do want to finish off maybe on Hugo Lloris. And what I do want to ask maybe the panelists can all have a say if you feel strongly about it. Because we've got to be brutally honest. Hugo Lloris has had some worldly performances this season, but he's also had some absolute clangers. Is this a guy going through a rocky patch? Or is this a guy that is in clear decline because the mistakes are happening more often than not?
It's so tough. I mean, honestly, I love that where this conversation has gone, because it kind of initially, I think, came from Kuva asking Philip, and I really do enjoy this conversation about Hugo, because I am kind of leading to think that maybe the way we play, like Kuva said before, bouncing off him, perhaps that's made Hugo more nervous, like even more kind of shaky going into games. But is that really the whole explanation? Probably not. Like there is probably something going behind the scenes there where he is maybe declining and he is maybe just losing a bit of that assuredness of himself, because we've still seen him, Dave, perform some spectacular saves. We know the world-class shot-stopping ability is in there, but it's almost like the assuredness and the confidence is gone, which is, I mean, can be fair. Perhaps, I don't know what the reason is really, but I think that's where we're starting to maybe be a bit more concerned, is just when he loses that confidence and that assuredness, he then starts to make mistakes. And Sean has said this before. It is the position where if you're losing a bit of confidence, I mean, it is the biggest spotlight in the entire field. If you are losing confidence, I mean, it's the most costly as well. If you're not confident, if you're a keeper, I mean, you have to be assured of yourself, because if you're not, then you cost your team more than really any other position ultimately. And that's what makes the position so hard in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, look at the highs and lows with De Gea at Man United as well.
Correct.
Went from almost godly to calamity and then up again. I think with Hugo, it's a bit of everything. I think the game's evolving and he isn't. It's far more teams playing out from the back. Goalkeeper heavily involved with the ball at their feet. And he's just not good at it. I just don't see him ever improving that. It's a bit of a teaching an old dog new trick.
He is in decline, I think, kind of rapidly, I would say, this season, I would admit.
Yeah.
Plus, of course, Hugo, what's his main strength is shot stopping, and it's his agility. The older he gets, the worse that agility is going to be.
Yeah. Look, that's just natural. So you're absolutely spot on there. And Philip, in decline for you, Hugo, or just going through a rocky spell? Maybe back on the red wine again and just needs to be realised, or?
No, I think it's since the game evolved into playing out from the back. In the good old days, when the ball went to the keeper and he hoofed it up the pitch, Hugo was fine. But Hugo's ball playing ability is pretty poor, always has been. And as the playing from the back has become more prevalent now, it's showing that he's not up to it. Okay, he's still a great shot stopper, but as you say, that will decline with the years as well. So I think he's 10 years with us now, he's very conservative, and you don't want to knock the guy, but sometimes it's better to be cruel to be kind. And I'd rather see him leave Tottenham still with good memories rather than the memories of the last 5 matches made horlicks of things. So that's he's in decline, unfortunately.
I think so as well. And for me, when a player is showing the mistakes he's making, I actually think it's just, although Hugo will not want to come out of the firing line, no professional footballer does. I think we've actually just got to do him a favour at this stage and take him out of the firing line, bring Fraser in, see what he can do, and then maybe look to reinstate Hugo somewhere further down the line. But for me, I think he's got, especially tonight, if he's at again tonight, he's coming, punching things and they're fucking going in the net or over the bar. For me, it's clear sign you got to take him out. But look, we'll move on because we've got other things.
Very quickly, just to add on to the final bit on that would be the other thing is with Fraser Forster. If we got any fear about playing him, that means he's a bad signing.
Yeah, it means it's the same situation as Galini. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I don't even argue with that.
Gaguma says, always great pump up with Dave, Jack, and Kuva. Really appreciate that, Gaguma. Big yourself up and really appreciate the support. Look, hopefully we get the win today. It's all we want. I mean, I can't keep going through this pain of losing games that we should be winning. It hurts so much. so much. But big up, Gaguma. And it's even harder to get up for the next pre-match build-up or the pre-match show for that. You know, it's even harder there once you lose. But Dermotron says, hashtag Kenny out, Ollie for the Ireland job, hashtag Ollie in. No, Dermo. No.
Here's what I just quickly say to Dermot, and maybe he needs to hear it from a Yank, Dave. Who knows when it comes to Ireland? But he is playing the youngins, and he is playing the young players that I will say do look talented for Ireland, and would maybe a conventional, maybe older generation type coach for Ireland have done that? I'm not so sure. So that's what I would say to Dermot. Yeah. Would Bazunu be the player he is right now if it wasn't for Kenny?
Nope. No,
there you go.
He was always going to reach that heights, to be fair, but Kenny did put him in the spotlight.
Allowed it to be sooner rather than later. Allowed it to be sooner rather than later, maybe.
Yeah, Shea Given would still be playing, wouldn't he?
But big up Dermotron. In fact, Dermot, why don't you put your name in the hat for the ring for the job, my man? Big yourself up, lad. Dermotron. And then we've got Lesego Mokoena. Big yourself up. Really appreciate support. He says, I think Lucas should start. Let's be honest. 3-4-3. Well, look, my man, we will get onto that. We are going to talk about that. For me, look, the creativity for me, there's just not enough there in the 3-5-2. I do want to resort back to the 3-4-3 as quick as we can. And I'm at the point today where I don't really care what injuries we have. We still have options to go there. You can put Lucas there. You can put Perisic there. Bring Messi, and he played well against Frankfurt. He should be good enough to play against Sporting, in my opinion. So we do have actually options to create that formation today. Whether we will or not is a different story. But will Lucas come in and maybe he could end up playing a number 10 behind Kane and Son like he did the last game? But we'll get on to that. I have a question about that. But big up Lesego, Mokoena, my man. Really appreciate the support, brother. Absolute legend. But guys, we'll be going for about another 30 minutes, 35 minutes there. So everyone keep smashing that like button, keep smashing that subscribe button, and keep getting your comments in, and feel free to make it a super chat anytime. We've got John Cooper, my man. How are you keeping, bro?
Hey!
See, where have you been, man? Where have you been? But big up and good to see you in the building. Look, it's going to be every game is a nervous watch when you've got Tweedledum, Tweedletwit, and Idiot at the back line. So, I mean, everyone is going to be nervous, but hopefully today it's not. Big yourself up, my man. But look, we're going to keep going, keep cracking on. We've got other areas of the pitch that we're probably going to have lengthy discussions on as well. And look, Jack, we'll start with you on this one. We have some serious defensive problems, leaking easy goals against both United and Newcastle. Why have we seen a sudden drop-off in form across that back line? What is the issue? Because, look, we need to get it sorted tonight because Marcus Edwards is in town and he single-handedly destroyed us last time out. He doesn't need anybody to pass to.
It's perhaps okay. There's a few answers that I have. I'm starting to develop a funny theory here, Dave, that I think there is an expiration month when it comes to Eric Dyer. If he started a lot, it seems like October always seems to be the month where he capitulates, like in some manner or form. So I guess we just have to play Eric Dyer through the rest of October, or just don't play him at all, because I have noticed that over these seasons he's had some pretty atrocious October months, like how maybe it's been the case that certain strikers
like Halloween, Jack.
Maybe he just doesn't, Dave. He gets a bit scared of all the opposition that he comes up against in this month. But this season, or this like past few weeks, Dave, I will say they have looked a bit shakier and shakier. They look more less and less confident. But I think part of it's just Dyer again, like having that expiration date. Another part of it is because Romero maybe not being so consistently in the squad. If they had like a more consistent Romero that does sometimes step out of the defense and kind of just get the job done for them, maybe that would probably make us look a bit more assured, perhaps give Dyer a bit more confidence, give other players a bit more confidence. But I don't know, Dave. It just could be because of Dyer's lack of confidence, which is maybe sort of leaking out to the rest of the players. And also just our back line is just being pressed really intensely by opposition. It kind of seems to be the game plan for most teams is just to press the back line. You make that back line nervous, therefore you can kind of get some goals. So it could be a combination of just teams kind of figuring out how poor our backline is on the ball, but also just that I think Dyer, Dave, really has atrocious October months, and it seems like that sort of kind of leaks into the rest of the team as well.
I mean, Jack, I could probably pick out a lot more months. There's 12 months on the calendar. So I could probably pick out at least another 8 there, I reckon. To be honest, joining alongside October, Jack. But Look, for me, I just think it comes down to mentality, the quality, and I'm not even going to get into it, repeat myself today. Everyone knows my thoughts on it. John Cooper says, why does no one call out Session? I think he's a nice lad, but people go easy on him. 100%. He can't cross dribble, nor does he get back and tackle. Well, John Cooper, you're going to absolutely love me, brother, because I say this about Session, you know. The guy used to be a left winger for Fulham. Came through as a left winger, played Premier League, played Championship as a left winger. And now all of a sudden, the guy can't cross a ball. So everyone comes in and talks about Perisic, who, by the way, has more goal creations than Session so far this season. But Session gets away with it because he's a young lad. And again, it's sentimentality. These guys that come in, we want them to perform well. Look, you should want everyone to perform well that comes into Tottenham. But sometimes you also got to wake up and smell the coffee at times. Otherwise, shit like we've seen the last couple of weeks or this month will always happen as long as some of the same culprits are here. And unfortunately with Session, I would actually make the case he's regressed. So rather than focusing on Perisic, let's focus on this guy who's been here a lot longer, in my opinion. But big up John Cooper.
I think to be fair, lots of people do call out Sessegnon. I know plenty that do that host channels.
Yeah, that are underwhelmed.
Yeah,
by him. Yeah, you're probably, and I know Kuva is as well. I've heard Kuva say this before as well.
Yeah,
so you're not alone, John.
Wingbacks.
You're not alone. Yeah, Kuva doesn't.
Colin Turner's here. Big up Colin Turner, and he says Sess needs to improve his passing and crossing or face a hard time. Exactly. Look, again, he's another one I tried talking about over the summer, and I wasn't allowed to be honest with you. I was the gags were put on me. So secretly I enjoyed that too. But at the end of the day, you know, I sometimes just need to be let free to tell the truth sometimes. But big up Colin Turner. I fully agree with you there, my man. Big yourself up. Kaguma with a sticker there, Jacko.
Yes, it is. And it says, my hero, Dave. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with moon boots. Perhaps she just loves the pump ups that much that she needs this confidence. And Dave, she's just proud of your hosting abilities. And you're just smashing it as well, Dave. It's a bit of a shorter show as well. So I know you're kind of going a bit more rapid fire here. So I do commend you for that. Maybe that's what Goguma is doing here as well. But she might just also be standing up for Larice, who we were kind of maybe questioning earlier as well. So I'm not sure actually who the hero is, but she's standing up for them, Dave. She's standing up.
I would like to think it's about me, but I'm not naive enough to know it's not. It's definitely not. Look, hopefully it's about like the people that do deserve to be called heroes, the likes of Son, Kane, Højbjerg, people like that. But big up Gaguma. Really appreciate the support. Really do. Top woman. But she's definitely not calling me a hero for sure. Maybe it could be Hugo, Jack. Gaguma, let us know in the comments. Is it Hugo, your hero? Adrian Chia says, Halloween month equals dire horror show. I mean, well, look, I suppose we can't complain for getting to grips with the time of the month. But sure, why not play them around Christmas? It's the season of giving. So let's just keep it. Look, you know, it's perfect. Gift away goes in the season of giving. Why not? But big up Adrian Chia, absolutely spot on. Love that, my man. And it's coming to cinemas near you guys, so make sure you check it out. Look out for the tickets as well, and the Dire Horror Show. But look, Kuva, Eric Dyer has suffered a massive drop-off in form. Clement Langley and Ben Davies have also been widely criticised. Christian Romero has also been struggling, and Sanchez is very, very inconsistent. Who plays across the back three tonight? Do you see Conte making any change to potentially open the door, even to bring Tavik Kanganya in to have a chance to impress? Because it can't do any worse than what we've seen.
No, we just lack quality there. There's nothing you're going to do about it. There really isn't. You need Romero to be on top form and Longley to be on top form to have a chance, and hope they can cover so Dyer doesn't have to do anything. Because if Dyer doesn't have to do anything than point, he looks all right. No, we're just lacking players. I love the attitude of people like Tanganga. I think he's got a really good heart for the game. He's combative and he's athletic, but he's always injured. The injuries have hampered his career terribly, and he's just not really getting anywhere fast. So can't rely on him. The others, Deadwood, that should have gone a long time back.
Who do you think we'll see in the back line tonight, though, Kuva?
Conte dust his boots off, maybe.
I'll be up for that. I'll be honest.
No, I think we're gonna. I think if fit, it's going to be Longley, Dyer, and if Romero's out, which it sounds like he is, it
sounds like he's back in the matchday squad today. It seems
he's not in there, or he is.
No, it sounds. I think by all reports, they're saying they think he's in the matchday squad.
Oh, that's right then. Maybe Longley, Dyer, Romero then.
Yeah, look, I think for me, I think that's the most logical. But Philip, is there a case for dropping Dyer, even if it's just, look, as much as I don't like the guy Sanchez, even if it's a case just, again, holding some people accountable around here for some of the shit shows they've been delivering, would you take Dyer out and put someone else in there tonight? And also, like, because you want to take Lloris out, which I agree with, but would you also do the same with Eric Dyer, regardless?
I think Philip's frozen. Oh, no, wait. There we go.
You there?
Yeah, I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
No, it's very dodgy, the internet. I may not have. Listen,
Well, look,
Longley, Romero, Dyer at the region.
Yeah. Look, send out a message to
Well, can you hear
Spurs
me?
fans and we'll let you go,
Yeah.
Philip. We'll let you go because it's all over the shop.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. In fact, I won't even get to see the match tonight because they're not showing it here. They're showing Liverpool, of course, you know. Listen, I want the fans tonight not to be too hard on it. If we're struggling after 10 minutes, get behind them, because there's going to be an overhang from Sunday afternoon there when the crowd was very disgruntled with what was going on. Don't want to see that kept going tonight because the team reacts to the crowd. If the crowd's negative, the team will be negative, and we know what's going to happen then. Marcus Edwards is gunning for glory tonight to go back to Spurs and destroy them. We've got to stop that happening.
That is true.
And to do that, Longley, Romero at the back, aided and abetted by Dyer, who hopefully won't make any mistakes. And we've got to go for these guys from the start. They're not that good, and we can beat them, and we need to beat them and get a bit of confidence back in the squad. And for that reason, I'm going to be absolutely ridiculously positive tonight and go for a 3-0 win.
As well.
Love it.
And with that,
love it. Well, Philip,
wherever I am off the coast of Canada.
Yeah, look, you go and enjoy your buffet, followed by a nice jacuzzi and maybe around the drums, but you go and enjoy yourself, my man. We'll see you very, very soon. Big up, Philip.
I'll not enjoy it. I'll be sitting watching Twitter and see what the score is. Okay, lads. I'll see you later.
I'll see you,
Cheers,
Philip. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Everybody, give Philip a lot of love. The guy's on holidays, enjoying himself at this moment.
I'll tell you what, a lot of us going for 3-0 at the moment.
A lot. Hopefully that's a good omen. I might have to speed down to the
Yeah, Dave and I need to do better. We didn't wake up with these vibes today. It sounds like Kuva and Philip, plenty of people in the chat waking up with that sort of energy, which is good. They're doing the job for us today, Dave. They're doing the pump up for us. They're feeling it today.
I love it. Do you know what, Jack? In fact, they're getting me that pumped up. I'd have to strap on my little light up runners every time I run. They light up, strap them on and head down to the bookies and get a 3-0 on. Faz Radfar wants to be the point of difference. He's gone with 3-1. Big up, Faz. But look, we're going to keep moving. We're going to talk into the wingback areas now. I do apologize. It's a bit of rush today. As you know, I am slightly, what's the right word to use? Stupid. So I got basically the times mixed
Maybe not the right word.
I got the times mixed up today. So basically, I'm behind myself today. But look, we're going to keep moving. Let's talk about Ryan Sessegnon. John Cooper boy would be happy. Ryan Sessegnon is better defensively, but Perisic is so much better going forward, in my opinion. In this contest system, we rely on the wing-backs for creativity, and even more so in the 3-5-2 like we played the last few games. But Marcus Edwards probably will be playing on that side, and we need someone who can defend. So we also need to go and try and win the game and create chances. So what do we do, guys? I mean, Kuva, we'll start with you on this one. Do you go with Perisic for the attacking output, or do you go with Sessegnon in the mindset of dealing with Marcus Edwards?
Perisic, go for the attack. You should know me by now.
Go for it.
All out attack. Yep. If we're going to struggle against Marcus Edwards anyway, he's going to run past players. Even Sessegnon isn't going to keep up with him when he's in that sort of mood. So I think it's more a case of having some numbers available and keeping an eye on him. You know, back up your man that's going to intercept him. If Longley has to go out there, it will need Højbjerg or whoever's playing on that sort of left side of the pivot. Go over with him. Give him a bit of backup. Don't let them take them one-on-one. Perisic, if he's playing, he's going to have to track back at times, but we know he's not going to do it very often. He is all about the attack. We're at home, though. We're good at home, bar the Newcastle game with great home results. So let's take the game to them. Let them worry about what Perisic is going to do, rather than us worrying about Marcus Edwards. I just don't think Sessegnon's up to the job in any shape or form. I don't even think he's very good defensively.
Do you know, I actually said this at the start of the season. I remember, Jack, I was saying it to Benji. I was like, look, I don't think Session's going to cut the mustard here, especially with Adoji being signed and ready
Yeah,
to come in.
yeah,
What would you do, Jacko? Do you agree with Kuva? Like, look, just go for it. You're the home team. You go out there and excite the fans. Or do you think it'd be naive not to have a contingency plan in place for someone like Marcus Edwards?
I kind of agree with Kuba, but the part that does maybe, I'm always a bit defensively sort of inclined in certain situations. I do kind of like thinking about the defense, and what I am kind of curious about though is that a guy like Bukayo Saka caused us so many problems coming at Perisic. I mean, Perisic, Dave, pretty much just let him to his house, let him cook his dinner, pretty much just do whatever he wanted on that right hand flank for the scum. And Marcus Edwards, I believe, also had, as we know, a pretty good game against like the Spurs. Perisic also started that game, so we do know that Perisic, maybe if best day, like, he could have an okay defensive performance, but he does seem to really struggle against those sort of very technical wingers, those very good kind of on the ball dribbling sort of kind of like wingers, and that sort of makes me lean towards Sessegnon. But then you're relying on Sessegnon to have a good performance defensively, and then let's say he doesn't have a great performance defensively, you're losing a huge attacking output that you'd be getting, of course, with Perisic. So I do actually really like Kuva's answer, and I kind of do want to lean towards that, but I'm actually going to go with Sessegnon today, Dave, just because I think Perisic struggled against Marcus Edwards last time out, and he struggled against Bukayo Saka, who I think are very kind of similar type players, and maybe those are the sort of wingers that Perisic seems to struggle against most, I would say.
Do you know what? For me, I'll be honest, go with Perisic and just instruct anybody. As soon as Marcus Edwards picks up the ball, instead of being pansies and, huffing and puffing, blowing behind him and embarrassing yourself, just take him out. I mean, it's one of the most old-fashioned things in the book. Instead of letting him run at you and take on 5-6 players and make these half-assed weak attempts to try and knock him off the ball, simply, okay, I'm not quick enough to keep up with him. Take him out. Get everybody back behind the ball and reset, and just taking turns doing it. It's all you got to do if you want to go with someone like Perisic. So that's what I would be doing tonight. And then we don't do enough of that. I see like some of the great teams over the years, anyone that went to try and counter them, boom, took it out. Everybody set up behind the ball. At Tottenham, it's like you're just waving at them like it's a car going by you on the M50. You know what I mean? It's fucking, it's ridiculous. Blau and Grana says, holla from Spain. Do you speak Spanish, Italian, German, and French? Guten Tag, Guten Morgen, which is good morning. Spanish is hola or hola. And then French is, let me see, what is hi in French?
Bonsoir. Bonsoir is good evening.
Bonsoir. Yeah, that'll do. Bonsoir. So look, no matter who's on the panel, I like to think we're all educated enough, bar me, that we can speak some sort of language
as well. For Italian, I think, as well. Buona suerte, I think, is.
I was going to say ciao, but it's goodbye or ciao bella or something, isn't it? Goodbye. I don't want to.
Shows we can all be Eric Dyer. Shows we can all be Eric Dyer. It's not too hard.
I know plenty of really offensive phrases in all of those languages.
No, well, Kuva, apparently, if you do, that actually qualifies you to be a leader across the back line at Tottenham. So maybe put your CV in.
Especially when he needs to point his arms out and blame other people. He needs to know those words as well.
One thing's for sure, I'm not going to be getting out of the way of a ball being blasted at me. I can't.
Tottenham defensive course, though, Kuva. Practice the YMCA, speak 10 different languages, and there you'll be a leader. You'll be in the centre of that back line in the leadership role. Guguma said she's going with Perisic. She likes my idea, just chopping down Edwards every time he gets the ball. Let's get Perisic out there, running down the wing, putting crosses in the box. Because look, a lot of people have the gripes for Perisic. At least he gets the ball into the box, whereas Session just balloons it off the closest player to him or out the other side of the pitch. So on that basis, I'm going with Perisic, and I agree with you.
It's a really old, really simple tactic. It used to be. They used to call it the funnel defense. If you're up against somebody tricky, really tricky winger, you force them inside, and your mates there waiting to just clean them out. It's really effective. You don't see it quite so much nowadays, but the principle's the same. If you're having trouble with somebody like that, you pair up on them. You work out which way you force them, and the second player is just going to deal with it.
But Kuva, to do that, you have to be able to think on your feet, and this is the problem. I don't think some of these guys have that 100%. Jacko, We also have the same problem at right wing back as well as the left wing back. Who do you play with? For me, one is clearly better going forward than the other. Many are predicting Matt Doherty will actually make his return to the lineup today, saying Emerson has failed to impress. But I'll be honest, Jack, and I'm taking the game in isolation, but the game at the weekend, I do fail to see where maybe what Emerson done wrong in terms of what people give Doherty a pass for. But who deserves to start at right wing back today? Because again, we need creativity. We need someone getting forward. So who are you hinging your bets on? Because look, we could sit here and say Spence. Spence is more than likely not going to play. But who will offer you more going forward, Emerson or Matt Doherty, in your opinion?
I think given if you just look at last game in the last 4 games in isolation, just grant maybe the last kind of 5 or 4 games of just form, you look at what Emerson, I think, did in the game against Newcastle was kind of a whole lot more than really what Doherty did in all 3 games that he was given, at least in my personal opinion. And also, I think Emerson's performance was sort of reflective, I think, of like Ollie Skip's performance, sort of Bentancur's performance. A lot of players, I think, on the Newcastle day that actually were there and showed up and were there to be counted and there to be, put in a good performance. But they just kind of got betrayed in a sense by other players that just decided not to show up that day, i.e. the Eric Dyers and the Hugo Llorises, like we spoke about earlier, Dave. So I actually think I really do want to see maybe even a similar lineup and kind of a similar group of personnel to the last game, simply because I thought a lot of them actually put in good performances really on the day, despite kind of being let down by some individual errors of other players. So with that in mind, I go with Emerson, and I think I go with also the fact that I thought he actually was a nice sort of outlet for us down that right-hand flank. He was giving us more pace down there. He was able to make runs in behind that really Doherty, I guess, wasn't able to make or just didn't want to make by the looks of things. And I thought he actually created a few chances for us as well, and created more chances than Sessegnon really did on the day as well. So I think you kind of do just go with Emerson and see what he can replicate, especially if he is replicating a similar performance to what he did against Newcastle. I think you then find yourself where it should probably just be, as it always should have been, a choice between Emerson and Jet Spence. But I think you go with Emerson today, Dave, just because I think his performance was similar to the likes of Skips and Bentancur's. Like, he really didn't do a whole lot wrong and was let down by other players on the day, and probably deserves just to be included again because, again, like I said, didn't do really a whole lot wrong and probably actually did more right than wrong when you really look at it, kind of like Bentancur and the others.
Jack, I think Emerson's maybe in contact to make you his PA. Absolutely love
King
that
Hoddle's
answer.
already taken the position. I wish King Hoddle might, hire me into the agency, though, into the Emerson agency.
No, look, for me, where I'm at, I've said this last week, I think I would actually rather play a player who at least attempts to do the right things where it's even sometimes don't come off, over a player who's just completely negative and looks to pass the ball inside and pass on the responsibility every single time. Plus, Emerson, for me, just finds himself further up the pitch than what Matt Doherty does. And that's just where I'm at with this. But Kuva, we were speaking about this earlier. It's sort of like pick your poison. But I'm taking Spence off your table today. So no Spence. Who are you going with today? Who's going to make the impact going forward? Doherty or Emerson, if you have to pick? I know you're going to say none, but
he's going to go 10 man. He's starting at 10 man.
Can we tie a balloon with a smiley face to a bollard and put that out?
I think a traffic cone would do better than a
no.
balloon.
If I've got to choose between the two, I'll pick Doherty and just tell him you're playing as a right winger. I just don't even bother with the defensive bit. It's not worth it. We'll just say to Romero, Romero has to work with
really
Bentancur and just cover that right flank with that when they attack there. I'll just give up. There's absolutely no point. They're both hopeless footballers. Should never be at the club. So
tell me you're giving up without giving up. I'm going to tell him to play a right wing. It's not worth it.
just don't even bother. It's like with Emerson. You should be telling, if he has to play, just tell him when you see the halfway line, just give the ball to somebody else there. Don't bother.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, lads. Is it not Frank Sporting? He could have had a hat trick in, or was that Frankfurt?
It was Frankfurt. It was Frankfurt in the beginning of the game where it was Sporting. Yeah, could have scored too. I think in a few moments. That's definitely true. But I think it was Frankfurt where he just like all of a sudden had like 4 shots within like 10 minutes or something like that. It was hilarious.
How many goals did he end up with?
Well, let's see. It's a tough one to count.
Problem,
it's a high one.
It doesn't matter how much effort you put in if that's the result.
Well, look, Adrian Trier says, please no YMCA tonight. Hope Conte flexi cuffs them. No, look, to be honest with you, what I would do is actually swap the YMCA for a conga. You know, everyone line up, going like that as a celebration alongside the South Stand when we win. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. You know, that's what I want to see as a celebration tonight when we win. So big up Adrian Trier. Tonight we're swapping the YMCA for the conga line, my man. Big yourself up, brother. Look, honestly, some of them are probably that short of auditioning for Dancing on Stars then, because they just like the money, to be honest with you, for a little to nothing. And they may as well audition if they're going to just start doing stupid stuff on the football pitch. But look, we're going to move into the midfield. Midfield. Jack Bentancur has been one of the hardest working players this season, has still given his all in the past 2 matches despite the defeats. Bentancur has been clearly the hardest working defensively for the team, picking up 14 more tackles and interceptions than anyone else. That's incredible. While known for his silky touch and composure, Jacko, and nice hair, should Bentancur be given some praise for his work off the ball?
Yeah, I think this is where maybe Bentancur's work, Dave, gets a bit unnoticed, as we always love to praise Bentancur for his beautiful feet. Like I said, the silky hairline and just the overall look of him. I mean, he just looks like a midfielder. He just looks like a classic central midfielder, one that fits the Premier League. And we often kind of, I think, attribute a lot of, sort of more elegant kind of parts of his games and, give that, I think, a lot of credit. Like we said, his beautiful touch, his composure in tight areas, being able to receive the ball under pressure, being able just to look, composed in every way whatsoever. But I don't think we always maybe give enough credit to his work rate, especially this season. I think the guy's just been running himself, it looks like, to death sort of each game. I wish there were kind of those pressure stats that were available to us. I think they kind of took them away on a lot of sort of various kind of stat websites, Dave, which I'm very sad to see because I think he's probably through the roof when it comes to that. But maybe the best way you can show it is those sort of tackles and interceptions. I mean, 14 more than the next man in the team. And of course, the next man in the team is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Dave. And it's probably even sad news for Ellie and I, because we love Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. We love his shoulders. We love his combative nature in the team. But it's actually Bentancur that's been the real warrior in the side. It's really been Bentancur that's been the guy that's getting stuck in for us. Normally we give, Højbjerg that sort of kind of that label. It's actually kind of been the opposite this season. It's really been Højbjerg is kind of the one kind of being more of that deep line playmaker, being able to create a bit more, whereas Bentancur is the one that's actually doing a lot of the dirty work in the midfield. And I don't think it's been thanked enough for it maybe this season, Dave, or maybe just isn't praised enough for that side of his game, because he is a beautiful midfielder to watch, but he works just as hard as anybody else, I think.
No, I think so as well. I definitely agree with that, Jack. And look, I don't think he gets enough credit for the role he does, to be honest with you. I really don't think you're spot on there. Big up Anthony says, great show. I'm in Australia and I'm a Spurs fan since the 70s. Teams have worked us out. I'm hoping for a win, but our defense is catastrophic. I'm not going to say that word, and we will lose. I just don't like saying that word whatsoever. It's not that you use it in a context or anything. I just don't like saying that word. But big up Anthony Rose. Really appreciate the comment, my man. Kuva, formation tonight. Who do the midfielders need to be in this 3-5-2 in order for us to be better, and creativity as well? We've got to factor that in.
It's a case of lack of forwards at the moment. So I'd have Sonny and Kane up front. But like I said, Doherty and Perisic are pretty much as two extra attackers, really attacking wing-back play. So it's almost playing a sort of 3-3-4, if you like. That's how I'd go about it. We're the home team. We've got to go for the goals. It's where our strength is. Get the ball to Sonny and Kane. For me, it's 3-3-4 setup, if you like, or 3-3-5-2, if you like. Depends how you want to view it. I just think it's all about getting the ball into the box for Harry Kane. I think he's got too much for Lisbon. I think he's too big, too powerful, knows where the goal is. I think that's the key for us.
Harry Kane has struggled this year, though. He's only scored one goal, a penalty against Frankfurt. I mean, why has he not replicated his form from the Premier League to the Champions League?
He will.
Yeah?
He's not
You promise me?
Yeah, happening tonight, mate.
I love
Harry Kane brace.
Sounds like Kuva's seen the hair before you have, Dave.
Honestly, it sounds like he must be in contact with Charlie Kane or something like that. I'm not sure what's going on there. But no, honestly, look, for me, I do think we'll see the three in midfield. I'm torn. I'm torn. Look, if Højbjerg's taken out, I just hope Bentancur, Skip, and Basuma can produce enough. I probably would go with what we done the other day with Basuma being the holder and Skip and Bentancur kind of moving either side of him. But for me, I think Højbjerg is crucial, Jack. It's his creativity from that midfield that we don't have. Because if the creativity is not come from the wing backs, Højbjerg has been the creative guy through the middle. And if he's out, where does it come from in that midfield? Do you potentially then maybe think about actually dropping one of the midfielders and actually playing Lucas Moura at number 10 like we've seen against Newcastle?
There is something to be said about that, where I think someone like Lucas did bring that sort of work rate that maybe could be needed through the middle. He does like to track back and get stuck in, but he also can just get you up the pitch just by himself, like without passing. I think Kuba has probably described Lucas in 1,000 brilliant ways of just running into, blind alleys, etc. Where at least at the end of the day, what Lucas does, he puts his head down and he basically just runs past every flying object that goes in his way. And certain games, he can do it quite well. Certain games, like I think the last time he came on, Dave, he was just giving it away and giving it away and giving it away. And it was really frustrating. But what you do know is Lucas just gets you up the pitch. And perhaps that's sort of what we need in that 3-5-2 at times, is just somebody that can just drive us up the pitch and helps Kane and Son not have to drop so deep and not have to just only use each other. Perhaps a runner like Lucas helps us out a bit. And then if you did have a Lucas, I think you could probably get away maybe more with a Matt Doherty, because what we were just sort of missing, I think, in that game was just a bit of legs, where it was just a bit of pace, Dave. And I think Emerson was providing it that game. And if once we brought on Lucas, maybe you don't need Emerson perhaps as much, because I think what Emerson was helping us out with was just being that runner, doing those unselfish runs down the flanks to be that open option. And Lucas could help us do that, certainly, for sure, as well. And also he just drives us up the pitch. So there is something to be said about that. But the prophecy of Hill Messi, who knows, Dave? You never know.
He's one I would try there, if I'm being brutally honest, over Lucas Moura. I'd actually put Gil Messi in there, because what I think Gil Messi has over Lucas Moura is Lucas is more of a runner with the ball, whereas Gil Messi actually can spray the ball.
He would try to thread them through.
Yeah, and I would actually look to play him there, if anything. But Jack, one thing you need to get used to is Matt Doherty. No team will ever get rid of or get away with having Matt Doherty running up there. Actually, refusing to run down the wing, Jack. I would phrase it like that.
Doherty almost sounds more Irish than even Doherty.
But Jack, Phil says, Phil123 Koi says, Dave, Jack, Kuva, have you heard of Mohamed Simakan at right wing back from Leipzig? He was unplayable against Real Madrid.
He was
unplayable. Check him out. Come on, Spurs. I haven't heard of him, actually, Jack.
I heard I saw the highlights, and I heard he had an absolutely sensational game from what I saw from the commentator and the highlights and whatnot. He is more of a center back, though, actually, Phil. So I think he would maybe fit in that sort of mold for us. And to be honest, I'd take him, especially. I think he has a bit of a familiarity with a back three. I think he originally came from Liga. I think he moved to Leipzig last season, not this season, but last season. So he is technically on the market. I think he moved there the same season that Gavardiol did, and he's right-footed. So who knows? Perhaps grab them both there, Phil. But yeah, I do like Mohamed Simakan. He's a good player. He's really good in the air, actually, as well, which is actually what we need too. He's good in the air.
Few seasons back, I like to think I had a good knowledge of players around Europe, and I've got to say nowadays, I've not.
That's what Spurs does to you. It just drives you crazy. You can only think about them. That's what I've lost.
Big up, Phil, my man. It's definitely someone I'll definitely keep an eye on, and I'll have a look at, my man. Big yourself up, Phil. Make sure you get on the post-match fan show tonight if you can. Great Spurs, big yourself up. He puts us into the last segment very, very nicely, because I do have to head over to Tottenham TV. Like you said, I am a bit stupid. I can't really count properly. So I got my times wrong today. But he says, Kuva, your prediction. I've got my fiver. I actually thought it said fixer in the chat, but we're going to go with fixer because it sounds better. He said he's got his fixer ready, Kuva. So, I mean, what's your score prediction? Do you maybe think Sonny will turn up today with another couple of crackers, or, are we in for a tough game?
I think five are ready to bet on Spurs. Go and buy some lagers and stick them in the fridge. Either way, you can celebrate with them or drown your sorrows. That's the best bet.
I love it.
I think, no, score prediction, it's really difficult with us at the moment because you can get any result with us. But I've got to say that home game, European game, it's very difficult travelling in Europe when you're a great team. Even I just think Kane's due to bang a few goals in Champions League. We're not as bad as the last two results have suggested. We're not great either, but we should have enough to beat an injury-ravaged Lisbon coming to London to play on a midweek game. I think crowd will get as soon as we get the crowd behind us, it'll roar us onto an easy win, I think. So I'm going 3-0.
Love that. And tell people about your show on a Sunday. When is it? Sunday evenings. Coov and the Kang.
Yep, Coov and the Kang, me and Bobby Kay on the Three Spurs Boys channel. Just doing a little sort of light-hearted round up to the week. And but you and I are going to have a little program, a little show before that, aren't we, Dave?
Yeah, every Sunday at 7 after my day out of hiking. It's me, you, Sean, and Sava. Should be very, very lively. A lot of different opinions swirling around on the show, so it should be good to get a Cooper.
I agree. It's a good mix of opinions there between us, I think.
No, there is for sure, and we'll definitely give that a good plug here Saturday when we're after the game. For sure, I cannot wait for it. Actually, it's going to be a very, very interesting, especially see how the first one goes. All the dynamics, all the characters on the panel, a lot of big characters. So it's going to should be entertaining to say the least. But Jacko, what's your score prediction tonight? Do you think Shockedy can set up 2 assists like Aaron Dove was saying?
I don't even know what came over me, Dave, to even include Chocolate, but I decided to be that nice today with giving him maybe an inclusion. But I see this one probably something about me just feels like Portuguese defenses, Dave. They can be a little frustrating at certain games, even when they're not playing well, and even when lacking a bit of confidence, they can still be well organized. So I am going to go 2-0, 2-1. I just think I have a feeling it's going to be a close one, and it's not going to be the easiest of score lines. I expect it to be maybe a more comfortable performance, but perhaps again, like where we have an okay performance, but not the most comfortable score line. So I'm going 2-1, Dave. I need those Kuva vibes, but I didn't wake up with them today.
Do you know what? I came into the show a bit antsy-wantsy, a bit apprehensive, but since then, delusion has took over. The lovely bit of Irish spring water I've been drinking here out my bottle has really got to me. So I'm going to go... Huh?
Touching.
Yeah, I wish. But look, I'm going to go 3-0 this evening. I think, listening to Kuva, I think he could be correct. You know, Harry Kane, he hasn't really replicated that form into the Champions League. I think he's going to be hurting for a few goals. So Emerson, hopefully will put in a good performance tonight if called upon, or even Doherty. I think it's a massive game for the back line to stand up and be counted along with Hugo Lloris if they play. I think the midfielders will be hurt from what happened to them last week because they did start off flying. And for me, just with supporting injuries across the forward line, some out of the midfield and some across the back line, and the manager under real pressure with results not really going his way lately. For me, I can only see a Tottenham win today, especially at home, especially with the big tifo in the South Stand. I think it's going to be one of them great European nights. I can't wait to watch Tottenham play in the all-white kit. For me, that is absolutely symbolic of where Tottenham should be, European nights in the all-white kit. And look, what I'd say to people, I get the last couple of weeks has been doom and gloom. 100% get it. In fact, the whole of October has. We've lost 3 games this month. It's been doom and gloom. But let's not take it away the fact that we were absolutely pining for these nights in the Europa Conference League. So regardless of the form going into this game, let's sit back there and enjoy it tonight, watching Tottenham back on the biggest stage, because that's where we wanted to be at. So everybody, come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust. We'll see you for the watch long kicking off at 7:30. Myself, Jack, and Shawnee to take you all the way through the game, and then myself and Dermotron on the fan show after. See you all soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust.